What's up, guys? Welcome to another episode. I've actually lost count because my editing has slacked off a bit. I think I've got 2 or 3 episodes that I've got to finish off and get done. So welcome to another episode. Basically, yesterday's trading day, what happened? We blew the combine that we just unlocked. We were down negative 2 grand for the day. At one point, obviously blowing the maximum loss limit of 2K. I wasn't even filming and recording because I was essentially still trying to go for max big move trades, and really NQ has just been wicking. And I think this was another error on my part, just holding so true to my bias and not being flexible with what price is actually doing. But you heard me screaming all-time highs. We pretty much just took previous day's high and ranged around, and we're still under it right now. So it being a Friday, I'm not really anticipating crazy big to the upside. It would be great for all-time highs because I'm going to be making a lot of profit, and I think that's why I was holding on to the narrative, because I was attached to the money. I was attached to the profit rather than what the charts actually tell me. Rather than expecting it now, I'm just going to have that as a level that I'm interested in. It could maybe reach up there, but I'm not like, yep, all-time highs, it's hitting it today, just to feel like I can read the market ahead of everyone else and I have a crystal ball. So that's the rant on myself over new day. We will go through something pretty cool though. The payout, the second one that we made, has come through. This was payout 1, 4.7 AUD and 5 AUD. So with the $527 amount that we're trying to get per day, it equates to about, I'm going to say 2.6k if it's for the 5 days. So this already is 2 weeks towards the challenge done. Super blessed, that's all we can really say. Super blessed to be already up about a month into the challenge. But yeah, we just got to keep our head down and keep grinding till we can hit that 150k. But what I'll start doing is, if we can get more consistent payouts, have a running tally on the side and try run this up to 150. If we can hit it, double it, and go from there. A bit of an update on the financial side of things. Now let's get into the chart. All right, so I'm wanting to zoom my trading out a bit more. I think what's happening on a much larger time frame before getting sucked into the lower time frames. I think that's an error I've been making quite recently, chasing price, when if I just have the higher time frame analysis and these higher time frame trends, it's going to give me a bit more confidence to go into the smaller time frames. So I'm just going to be patient. It's Friday. We've had a great week. I think we've closed out green for the rest of the week. Speaking of which, we'll go over the account balances. The lowest right now is 562. I think you'll recall this was at about 200. So we did manage to double it yesterday. I didn't want to get greedy, risk the whole 500s. Just going to take this slow and steady to hopefully bring it back up to the other accounts as well. The 2 accounts that we requested a payout, the ones in the middle. So it was about 6 grand. We're half at 3.3. This one was I think 6.9, so we're about 3.4 on this one. And then this is the account with the most days so far. I believe we're on 6 or 7 days, but I'll check the top set dashboard and see where we're at. We're on 8 winning days on this account with the 4.9. So it's 2 days to go. If we can get a green day today, then hopefully Monday next week might be another payout request. We have entry here and writing this down. We actually did catch this yesterday. Yeah, so we did end up selling up here, and we got out at about the 1 hour busy. You can see on my chart just how much is going on right now. This really makes me want to slow down on the amount that I'm trading. Don't get me wrong, like, we're still getting payouts. We're still 4 weeks ahead of where we need to be in the challenge. But at the same token, if I continue trading like this, that's the potential for it to go to literally zero. So I think risk management is definitely something that I need to work on in not just trading, but poker. I think that's actually a huge element of why I'll build up a big stack of chips quick, and then just as quickly as I build them, or even if I slowly grind and in 1 or 2 hands it's all gone. So yeah, it's definitely something in my psychology, or just me in the way that I view funds and money, that I probably need to shift and look at. So if anyone has any tips, advice, appreciate it. We're potentially going to be looking for a long here, assuming we don't close significantly bearish. Put the 5 minute on here. Just looking to see if we pull back to this region and respect to go long. So we're going to add 3 contracts Put our stop here under this swing line. Waiting for this closure here. Does look like we have some bearish momentum. Looking at the 15-second here. We've got VWAP here. Looks like we're blasting through VWAP. See what sort of reaction we get. 5 minutes not looking too great. If we go back to the 15, looks like we're gonna have another wick. This is all Asian highs. Yeah, which we still haven't taken. We'll see if we get another bearish closure here. This might indicate whether we go short or not. Watch the 5 minute again. Wait for our signals. On the 1 minute, we still did close under here. Just depends if you respect this CB here on the 1. We'll be looking for a drop to the downside in this last 30 seconds if we are in fact going lower. See how this 5 minute closes here. It's not looking too great for the bulls, but that's enough for me to have an
Order
entry
filled.
here. Really tight stops just here for now. Happy to get back in later. I do think overall the main move is bullish. Not trying to fight the trend. It's a great reaction. Got Asian session lows here, so partial one off here to the higher time frame. So I got a 15-minute fair value gap in there. Also got our golden turn for that entry talked about before. So we'll take off another one here, and we'll take the rest off just at this buy. It's a really nice reaction. We were just waiting to see how the 15 was closed and 5. So you see the 5 after wicking created those equal highs. Looks like we're getting a steep bounce back here. Seeing if we close above this high. It might just be a very short-lived attempt to run down. Definitely wanting price to expand lower here. Wanting the Asian lows to be taken first. See if we can get this push. I think news just came out, which is why we had that reaction. We do also have this spot in here, but these equal lows, low resistance, liquidity, session low right there, and then we got that 15 FEG that we saw here, this busy. So it makes sense we tap into here and then react. But this reaction so far isn't too great. But ideally be wanting it to melt now. We're respecting VWAP on a lot of time frames. Just gonna be patient with it here. Good reaction on the 15-second here. I'd love to move stuffs to break even. If it starts to melt again from that point, we can just re-enter. I'm gonna try to work on preserving capital. Just try and make most of my trades as all break even at a bit. Still looking like we are dropping here, which is good. Just taking out this. Approaching a 3 in a busy right here. Ideally, we just rip straight through, especially with this reaction. So just zoom out on that time frame. I guess the only thing is this massive hourly wick, which we could come down and have a look at. But let me draw a fib, see what 50% is. Okay, so it's actually slightly under our entry right here. I will just adjust this to that line. That gives it enough room if we do want to come all the way down. Stops are break even now, so not too much stress on the table here. We're going to take one partial off if we can take this high. At least we get some profit from the trade. Ideally we keep it intact. I'm just going to see on the one. I don't really want it to come all the way back up here. Give it some room if it just wants to wick it and then continue going down. Let's have a look here. Again, we can get back in if we do see a nice reaction off where we've got our exit. I just don't want it to blast through, that's all. Alright, so it looks like we might have just wicked that high, take out the liquidity, look to continue to the downside, see if we get some displacement here. Might be going to fill the entire gap first before moving. It's been rangy like
Order
this all
filled.
week, which just hasn't been great market conditions at all. Very choppy. Might go to the full top of the CB, and if it does, probably an indication that we'll be going higher. Have to get stopped out here. I do say that it's been a steady retrace. It hasn't been quick displacement back to the upside, whereas this is a big displacing move to the downside. So we'll just have to wait and see here. Alright, so we're going to get rid of this second partial. I still definitely want a partial if we can get to Asian chest and lows. This 15-minute isn't printing too great as well. See if we disrespect these here. That'll be a good indication that we're probably going to go lower. See if we get some buyers stepping in. I really don't see too many buyers getting involved. We've taken these lows now. We need a closure below this dotted line. Cool. So we're just going to look to see if we can retrace, and then we'll add another few positions on, because I do think this is still going to be the draw. Just came to fill in this one. Just waiting for a decent retrace here to add a bit more size on. I'm only going to get here. I don't think we get all the way maybe here actually. Sell two more. Really going to try and work on, especially in these conditions where one, I'm going against the trend. Two, we don't have too much volatility. The market telling us that it wants to go a particular direction. So I don't need to be putting crazy size. Just respecting this 15-minute CB for the time being. I do think this gets ran through. And we go for previous day highs. We've got a daily CB resting above. If we punch straight through, probably look at partialing here. We'll just watch the price action for each stalling.
Order filled.
I'll just manually partial. But then hopefully I still got that draw of all-time highs, but as I said it today, I'm not expecting it. I'm gunning for it. We close below these lows with displacement, just taking out this up. Hopefully we might rest but continue lower. Equal highs resting here, so it's not too. Still haven't made a lower low, which is a little bit concerning. See if this is our lower high, that's gonna fall. Punch, break it down on it in smaller time. Stops can go back to break even if we can take this low. Looking for some respection off the VWAP here as well. Right on our entry. Could just be a liquidity grab, so I'm gonna put stops to break even right here. But that steepness should hopefully be a good indication that we continue lower. Be rapid move. Let's see if we break these lows. At 6:30, candle just printed 30-minute. Bearish, still doji closure, still respecting these highs. And we've just wicked. Now this previous high, counter trend right now. We're fighting the momentum, we just want to protect ourselves as much as possible. Still pretty much just ranging. Hasn't been the greatest price action towards the latter half of this week. Monday, Tuesday, arguably Wednesday were all high liquidity days, which is good to see. This has been crazy and super hard to predict as well. It's very manipulative. It stops pretty much at break even now. I think we ripped through based on this reaction. Happy to be proven otherwise though. Be very happy. We're just making that sort of converging pattern where we've got lower highs but then also higher lows. Just making that wedge formation. Which way it wants to go. I'm hoping for a drop now in the latter half of this 30. Even if we get stopped out here, like we take these equal highs, potentially push up into this gap just a little. The reason that I'm thinking it goes lower is for the 4 a.m. reversal. I'm noticing a pattern usually at 4 and then 7 is when the market starts to reverse. So if we're moving in a particular direction, 2 till 3, we're at the open of 2. We go on both sides. So depending on which way we go, hopefully now in this latter half of 3 we can take the lows, maybe bounce off that 15 busy we were talking about before, and then that will fall in line with 4 o'clock. We'll just have to wait and see. Glad we were able to add an extra 2 lots in here as well. Taking out these lows depends on the candle closure now. Still like that 5-minute closure. A few seconds here. If we close bearish as we are, close about below 50% as previous week as well, be a good indication we might be seeing lower prices. Decent 5-minute closure here. See if we can get a push past these lows. I'm going to take the trade off if we can get back to this high. Tiny small scalp. I do think the main move still goes lower. Probably look to take this high here. Liquidity and bounce lower. This being so against the overall trend, I'm not the biggest fan. Still holding out for these lows. Wait and see. It's still super choppy. I'm not liking this price action at all. 15-minute isn't looking great. Respecting VWAP, respecting this stuff. It's a bit too yucky. I'm gonna take my eyes off the charts for the time being until something a little more clear comes out. I've got my alerts set at Asian high and Asian low, so we'll get pinged if we can take one of those. I think that's probably going to be a little bit more favorable for me to see if we can take. And that is why I love alerts. So the alert just bounced that we're approaching the Asian session low. Bit annoying that the move to the downside was still kept intact. This was the first 5-minute closure, more than 50% of the previous candle. So putting stops at this high, whoa, that's very tight. But that could have been. See if you can get a entry in here to take out the Asian session lows. Got a fair bit of volume in these two 1-minute candles here as well. We'll just wait and see. Might not get an entry here, so we'll just have to be patient for the time being. Still hovering at these lows here, so I'm just gonna let price do what it needs to do. Alright, so we're back in the trade. We're in a momentum move now. Just seeing lots of spooling to the downside now. We're taking out the Asian lows. We didn't respect this 15-minute TIBI. Sorry. The next key point of interest looking at is this gap right down in here. It looks like we're struggling to get down. Like we're having a bit of a reaction here, which is okay. Just need to see how this 15-minute closes, but with how the 5 minutes have been closing, it's looking likely that we're going to see some lower prices here. So might look to add on. I just want to make sure that we actually take this low, continue moving. So that closes. We're just going to see if we can continue this move to the downside. Again, on a very small time frame here, so I'll switch to the 30 so I don't have too much noise. See if we can close bearish here. Add 2 more there, and hopefully we see this thing pull. Beautiful. That's exactly what we want to see. So just looking, if we can hit our target of that 500, I think that'll do me for today. Not needing to be greedy, give back what we've worked pretty hard for this week. Gonna take one partial off here at the rest of these lows. Just watching on a smaller time frame to see if we're getting the market structure shifts or anything like that. I think there's definitely potential for us to come all the way down. Friday reversal could definitely be in play, considering we've been trying to push up all week. This could be just where we recoup a bit of the... Yo, this 15-minute closure, I just wouldn't want us if we came all the way back up here now. Would not be ideal at all. Don't like this wick as well on the 1 minute. But there's not enough to tell me that we are offside here. I'm just looking at this now. We're at about 50%, but we did gap up, which isn't what you want to see. If we can hold 50% and not close above, it would be very ideal. I'm probably just going to move stops to break even here, as we've added a bit more size on. But we got some liquidity resting here, which I hope we go for. We've got a minute to go on this 15-minute. Ideally we close below this BISI that we were talking about before. Wouldn't want to see us retrace from here now. Ideally wanting a continuation push to the downside now. Just don't want this to go shooting all the way back to the upside. Okay. So looking unlikely we're going to get all the way back here. We do close under, which is good to see. See if we can get a continuation push to the downside here. Going to adjust my stops to this high in case we want to come bounce back. Looking nice though, this continuation. Already at these lows. Alright, we close below as well. See if we can come back and take these lows here now after filling this. If we can't and we just hover, I'll close out 2 more. We'll do a market sell, market buy I mean. That's looking promising. Push past. Give it 1 more candle here. I want to see us really push now, because right now we're just creating higher lows. Alright, here we go. There's one. There's two. All right, nice. That gives me confidence to let it run. Continued to the downside here. So already at more than 50% of the previous wick. For now, we're just going to leave the trade, see if we can continue to drop. Stop's just going to keep on being adjusted as we come up, find liquidity. Just see what sort of reaction we get. Alright, so I'm going to sell a few now. Looks like we're continuing to push, which is great to see. Just got to be mindful with that after wicking and then closing back above. No regrets on the partial there. Looking like we're approaching these lows. Let's see if we can push past. Just back to the swing high. We do have the value gap in there as well. Let's see if we get this last little push to the downside. I don't see the volume profiles here as well. So yeah, definitely strong moves compared to all of this chop. Break it down on the lower time frame again here. Very steep reaction right here. I'm really not liking how this is printing. I think the 5 minutes going to be quite similar as well. But we got stops where they need to be. 3 minute. Do have a gap here and gap back at our entry. We definitely wouldn't want to see price running for just yet. Like we're coming back down on this 30. Just sticking with the trend. Trusting that we got the momentum to drive us a little bit lower here. Wouldn't want to see us come back for this high right now. I'm gonna put a stop buy here. Ideally we'd like this buy to be hit, but hey, profit's profit. We're gonna be up, we're gonna be green for the day. Super blessed, and I think that'll do me for today. We do have another entry potentially coming in US session at that 15-minute golden zone, which we outlined before. But again, it being Friday too, could just be complete reversal. I'm not a fan of putting in the limits of these key levels anymore. I'd rather just wait to see the reaction if we do get there, rather than just blindly jumping in. Because if we're coming down with momentum, you're just going to catch yourself offside 9 times out of 10. Let's see if the sellers have decided to put pause on this downward move. We've got this gap in here, which I would like to see us at least go for. And then if we do punch down, it will just be stops adjusted to these highs as well. We're just trying to lock in, if we are going to reverse, lock in at least the most amount that we can. Seeing if we can push down at this gap here now.
Order filled.
Get stopped out for one more. Probably running up to one of these like 1 minute levels in here. This is inefficiency. I think there's another one up here too. So we hit our 200 for the day. It's another green day, which is huge. And I think this is the way that I want to approach Fridays going forward, especially if it's been a pretty green week. But even if it's been a red week, I don't want to risk it all on Friday to get it all back, because I know myself and I have a tendency for that. But just having a look here, the 5 minutes still looking nice for downside continuation. Let's see if we can break down. Probably just going to move stops to this swing high here. The difference is only $18, but the added value if we come here or maybe into this gap and then go down, there's potential more upside down here too. So that risk to reward is worth it for me for having a little bit more room. Ideally we just bounce off here and then continue lower. It'd be interesting to see the standard deviation of this range if you were to draw a box. Session low to session high, then put the box from here to here. That'll be one standard deviation of the range. Reversals sometimes occur at that one standard DV. We'll just see this pink line here, this bottom area. Just see if this lines up with anything on a higher time frame. Yeah, so that's pretty much all filled. It's nothing of major interest for me there. Alright. Okay, so accidentally switched these, my bad. Waiting to see the reaction that we get. So we didn't respect this BC right here. Hopefully that is indication of lower prices. I'm just going to put a buy stop here. Alright, see if we can close towards the low here, which we do. It's a good indication that we're going to floor through, take these lows now. This might be where we start to reverse. Checking on the 5 minute.
Order filled.
If we get a strong bullish closure here, be pretty indicative. We do have big gaps to potentially go fill as well, but I think if we respect this, which we most likely will do, then we'll just close out the remaining position here. So yeah, up 300 If it comes to our stop, which it looks like it's about to hit right now.
Order
Boom.
filled.
So up 300 across 4 accounts, which is about 1.21228 approximately. Probably like 1,230 actually. Cool. So very happy with that. I'm just gonna go to the high time frame, make sure I don't have any stop or limit orders sitting waiting. I'm gonna definitely lock myself out of this account. I've got to clear this first. Alright, so the lowest balance has been locked out. We definitely don't want to give any of those profits back. We're slow and steady, hopefully get this one back to where we were. This is the account that's on day 9 now with this green day. To be fair, I won't risk it on this one as well. Just gonna lock ourselves out. These 2 accounts that we have now that have just clocked the 5 days, we can look to trade in US session. They've got a pretty significant account balance. We've got a bit of a buffer. So what I'm going to do now is put a daily loss limit of 500 and liquidate and block. A risk per trade, so 500. If we go 125, it's not going to give us too much room though. So we'll go 250 for the risk. Profit really go 1,000. Risk 1 to 4. The max that this account should ever go to today is 3.2. Just hit save first. And this one is 3.1. That's a huge buffer going into next week. Potentially give a little bit of profits back, but we'll just come back in US session and see if we have anything to trade. Beauty. Thank you so much for tuning in. If there isn't an opportunity in US session, we'll just call it and that'll be the trades. I'll give a preemptive goodbye now. Thank you for tuning in for this week. It's been a great week. I think every day was green. We blew 2 accounts, but we requested 4 lots of payouts, totaling about 14,000 Australian. So my eyes, it's a very big win of a week. We'll walk you through what I do on a Sunday as well, where I analyze my whole week of trading. We'll go through some of the trades, probably either the biggest wins or the biggest losers, see what we did well, what we didn't do well, and improve from there. Signing out for this week for now. Peace. Okay, and we are back for US session here now. As we said before, we've manually locked out these accounts, the highest balance and the lowest balance. Just running with our 2 other accounts right now. And I'm looking right here, so I was hoping for this close to be a bit more full. But this technically is a validation for our entry. It's respecting sell side now, looking for buy side to step in. We have this FEG on a 5-minute, on the 15-minute up here. After running Asian session lows without displacing further lower, this looks worthwhile to take us to the upside. Just seeing whether we didn't come anywhere near this wick as well. Weird candle closures though, so it's hard to tell. I think we've respected this 4-hour as well. This is enough of validation to go long.
Order filled.
Stops at this swing low. Alright, we're back a few minutes later. Trade is starting to move, which is good. Zoom down to the semi-lower time frame. We're going to take one off here. We'll look to go at the daily CB. I do think we've got room if we're going to push, especially after not taking any of the lows. This would hopefully be the time to do it, but again, just got to see where price wants to go at this point in time. Right now, trade's looking pretty positive, which is a good sign. Hopefully we don't take any red today. That would be ideal. Just gonna move stops to break even here. Hopefully we take this first partial coming up just here. We'll just have to wait and see. If we can get up there, we'll move stops to below this low, and then we'll see if the trade wants to push higher from there. This trade's been running for quite some time. We're close to that first TP we talked about. As soon as that occurs, we'll move our stops to here, and yeah, just let the rest of the trade go, see if we can get a runner. Try to get this up another $100 or so if we can, but I'm not too pressed if we can't. Adjusted the stops a little bit under this gap just to give the trade a little room to breathe. Not a great reaction rate. We're just gonna go refill. Move my stops to about 100. Wouldn't want these lows being taken. It just stops to here for now. I don't really mind if we get stopped out. It's already been, as I said, a great week. I should see, especially if this wants to pull back all the way on us. I'd rather just get stopped out here than all the way down here. Just trying to see if we got some gaps. Lower time. Volume imbalance on the 15-second here, which we have respected. Looks like we're going to go for potentially these lows unless we start bouncing all the way back here. If we can get up to about here, we'll move stops to this low. Looks like we're just going to go straight for it now. To get stopped out here. So 402, super happy with that. We're going to lock one of these accounts out now and then just run with one more during US. Beauty. So we got 3 with green days above 200. I think it's $1,000 for the ones that are locked out, and then we still got 300. 400 now actually, because we did copy trade. So sitting at about 1.4k for the day, which is huge. Again, over my $527 target for the day. It's been a great week, absolutely great week. So we'll see if US session has anything to provide. If not, we'll just sit tight and wait. I need to record the lows as much as the highs. I think that's just transparency, but also for me to get better. This is the one account that we left open. We were up 400, obviously, as before. Just took a lot of silly trades trying to chase the market instead of waiting for price to come to me. Down negative 900, that's a lot to lose. It's like 1.3k. The plan was to have the lockout limit, but I realized that I put it on the wrong account. And I had the opportunity to put it back, and I was just, nah, it's all right. We'll give it some room. And that would definitely be saving our bacon right now. Just when the emotions get in. For this trade, I'm not going to do a thing. And the reason I'm not, I should close it up right now, just chalk up whatever it is and call it a day. But I think I want this as evidence. There's a part of me that wants this to go to TP and it'll recover, and then the loss is reversed. I think another reason is for me to look back at this. I'm actually also wanting it to hit this negative 1.7, be down 2.6k, and reflect on that and be like, what are you doing? I want that pain, that disgust. I think right now I'm just hopeful and anticipating. As I promised, even if it's like reversing and we can get out green, I'm just going to leave the trade, whatever happens. Yeah, we're ahead of news. It's 9:30 open. Like, it's a very silly trade to be taking. We'll wait for the news open on this one just to see how it reacts. I'll come back at 9:30 open. Oh, wow.